Hey fam, happy Monday. I need to come on here and do my little talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. And there's quite a bit here, so let's get into it. Okay, so the season, of course, began with Jaime there at the judgment. I mean, wow, was he at court? Okay, so basically, Daenerys is telling him that she's always been told stories of how he killed her father and basically how she wants to kill him back, pretty much. Um, Jamie's done everybody in the room wrong. Everybody that's there except for Brienne. And we also find out that, of course, Cersei was lying about sending her army. She wasn't sending nobody, which, of course, is another thing that Daenerys is pissed off about. Basically letting her know that her hand, oh gosh, Tyrion, was wrong about his sister. He led her down the wrong path, and she's lost some faith in him here. The one who steps up, and before she does, though, it's funny because Bran is sitting there. Bran hasn't said anything, but as Jaime's talking, saying that he was defending his family and he doesn't regret anything that he did, he won't apologize for it, that Bran speaks up and says, the things we do for love. And it's just perfect because that's what Jaime said as he pushed Bran out of the window in season 1. Was it episode 1? And rendered him handicapped, paralyzed for life. Anyway, Brienne steps up and throws her hat in the ring for Jaime. She says that he was there for her. He saved her life and lost his hand in the process. And because she did this, Sansa listened to her because, of course, she saved Sansa's life. And they agree, along with Jon, basically that they need him. He has to live for them to be able to go on and fight this army. They need every man possible. So from there, we go on and let me see. Okay, so next thing is Aya. Aya goes to see the weapons maker, basically. Man, and she asks about her weapon, and man, he's busy making all these other weapons, of course, that are very important for this big fight that are about to take place. And she's asking him about the dead, basically. What are they like? Like, what are they like? And he says they're dead. And she's like, she's so badass with it. She picks up his dagger things and she's throwing them. Literally like they're darts, but she's throwing them into a wood pane that's in the middle of the room, and she's hitting them, and they're all like in a little triangle, very close area, and she's impressing the hell out of him, basically. And she tells him, I've seen death of many faces. I look forward to fighting this one. And as she's on her way out, she's like, and about that weapon, he's like, I'm on it right now. He sees that she is a badass fighter and he needs to get her weapon made. Okay, so we see so many things here. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Part of me feels like this episode was lacking some because this is episode 2. We only get 6, y'all. 6. I don't know. I just felt like we could have had a little more. But it was interesting. All right, so the next thing we have here is Jaime speaking to Bran, and he's at that white tree with the red leaves out there. And Jaime immediately apologizes to him. And Bran really doesn't care, basically. And Jaime asks him, why didn't you tell everyone, what I did to you? And he's like, you're no good to me if I let them kill you. And that's true. Just all he had to do was tell Jon that that's the man that pushed me out the window and paralyzed me, and Jaime would be dead. All right, so let me see. Jaime says, and what about after, meaning after the war? And Bran tells him, how do you know that there's an after, basically? Bran's not so convinced there's going to be an after. All right, so Jaime and Brienne share a moment, basically, when he sees her, and he acts funny, basically. He's acting funny, strange, to where she calls him out, like, what are you doing? You've never gone this long without insulting me before. And you could just tell there's chemistry between these two. You, this chemistry's been there since they were captured together. Basically, he just tells her that I would be honored to serve under you. I'm not the fighter I used to be, but I'm honored to fight for you. And let me see. Okay, the next scene we have Daenerys, and she speaks alone with Sansa. And they speak of Jaime and Tyrion, you know, the dynamics between families. And she, because Daenerys was basically saying Tyrion was wrong. And she's like, yeah, he was. But, you know, families are complicated. That's where she put it at. Daenerys is like, Tyrion never should have trusted Cersei. And Sansa immediately says right back to her, she said, you never should have either. I'm like, Sansa's good at checking somebody. I mean, mind you, Daenerys is the queen, but with all due respect. And she didn't even have to say that, but she still gave it to her. All right. They discussed their commonalities here, basically. Daenerys is telling her, you know, we have this in common. We're both leading a bunch of men who don't find it. This is not the easiest position to be in, basically. And they're talking about their commonalities there, getting to know you a little better. And this is where the conversation with Sansa telling her that you do know Jon loves you, right? Basically, in this conversation, Sansa's telling her that men are stupid. They do dumb things for love. And, you know, they can be easily manipulated, blah, blah, blah. And Daenerys is like, my whole goal in life has been to take over the throne of the Seven Kingdoms. And she's like, but where do you see me now? I'm here fighting Jon's war. And she's like, so who manipulated who? It's interesting because at this point, Sansa's like, okay, so then what? What after the war? What's going to happen? And she's like, I'm going to take over the Seven Kingdoms. And she's like, what about Winterfell? And there's a moment of silence here. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward because Daenerys doesn't have an answer. They end up being interrupted here, but you definitely feel how awkward and strenuous that conversation was. All right, so trying to keep this in here, fly through it. Oh, at the end, before the end of that conversation, Daenerys says that Jon is only one of the two men she's ever trusted in her life. And Sansa's like, who's the other one? And she's like, a much taller man. She was talking about Drago, her first husband, Jason Momoa. We miss him. Wish he was still here. Let me see. I'm going down my list. Okay, then we have Theon actually arrives there in Winterfell, and he claims that he wants to fight for Winterfell, basically, because, you know, he's kind of at fault for everything that's going on. A huge portion of it anyway. And in the moment that he gets there, him and Sansa, I mean, they hug each other, and it's a long, emotional, meaningful hug. They went through some shit together, and they definitely have love for one another, and it's really obvious. It's so obvious that I'm really starting to wonder, like, is he feeling her like that? Is she feeling him like that? Even though he doesn't have a dick? I don't know. This is what I don't know. I guess we'll see. Okay, let me see. So, then we see Jon's men show up there at Winterfell that have been gone for a while, including the redhead guy. Oh my goodness. And basically they're telling them that the army of the dead will be there before tomorrow morning. So they have like a night to prepare, sleep, whatever, get ready for this. So then you see, of course, they're planning their fighting strategy. And this is where Bran shares that the Night King will be coming for him. And he shows the mark on his arm, you know, that is the link between him and the Night King. And at first, Jon wants to hide him away. And he's like, absolutely not. You need to put me out there to draw him in so you can kill him. And honestly, Bran's kind of right. So Theon at this point is like, I will protect you. I'll be out there with you. I'll make sure you're okay. Let me see. Then we see Tyrion wants to fight, and Daenerys doesn't want to let him because she needs him. If they make it through this, she needs his brain. Tyrion is a genius, more or less. And this is where you see, which is one of the most interesting things to me. Tyrion and Bran, they sit and they're having a discussion, basically. And Tyrion is asking Bran about his journey, you know, to get him from where he started at to here. And I think the significance of this moment is profound because Bran is highly intelligent, but he has that third eye into a different realm of things. And Tyrion is quite arguably one of the most intelligent characters on this show. So just those two coming together, and they don't show the full conversation. They just show you them starting to talk, and that's it. So we don't know what came of it. I bet you we'll find out some more about it later, though. Let me see. So then we see, oh goodness, we see Grey Worm with what is the girl's name? Miss Missandei. Missandei. Okay, the light skinned black girl, like black guy. We see her walk up to these two little white girls there in Winterfell, and they're sitting there eating, and she's like, "Hi," very polite. You know how pretty that girl is. This girl looks at her like she got shit on her face, grabbed her friend, and took off. Okay, this is, like I said in the first episode, these people have not seen no black people. They have not. We have not seen them in Winterfell. And this shows you right here. But it's ironic because I listened to Leslie Jones on Instagram, and she was pissed at this moment. She said, you about to fight a whole dead army and you got the nerve to be racist? Yes, they do. In Game of Thrones too. Ain't that a bitch? All right. So at this point, Grey Worm is asking her, when this is all over, do you want to be here? Do you want to stay here? And she's like, no, I want to go live on the beach like I used to. And he's like, I'm taking you there, So it's a good moment between those two. They're going to stay together. We see Ghost made a small appearance here. Jon's wolf. He made an appearance when they were having a scene on the bridge top. Let me see. And then we sort of have the end of the night, basically, where Tyrion, Jaime, Tormund, Davos, Brienne, and her young apprentice guy are gathered around a fire, and they're drinking and they're talking, basically. And there's a huge moment here where Jaime decides to knight Brienne. Now, if you've been watching Game of Thrones, you know this is a lifelong dream, wish, hope of hers, basically, that she never thought would come true because women aren't supposed to be knights. But it's all you need is a knight to make you one. And that's exactly what Jaime did. And I cried a little bit because I'm so happy for my girl. And I died a little bit too because a redhead guy was talking about killing a giant and sleeping in the same bed as his wife, who put him on her tit, and that's how he got so strong. That was strange. Team too much right there. Watch the episode if you haven't seen it. Let me see. Then we show Aya, and at one point she's chilling, having a drink or so with the Mountain, basically. That dude that led her across freaking the earth forever. It was those two. I guess they're sort of cool now. He respects her. I think he knows that she can kill him. Therefore, he respects her. I love it. Okay, so Aya leaves to go practice, and you see her in an area where she's just shooting arrows. And at this point, the guy who's making her weapon shows up. And they're having a conversation, basically, and she starts questioning him about that redhead woman that took him, basically. And she's assuming that he slept with her, and he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, she stripped me down and put leeches on me. And she's like, well, have you been with other girls? And while she's having this conversation, y'all, she's taking her gloves off. Oh my gosh. I told you she wanted him as soon as she saw him. And this is what's going down here, y'all. She's questioning him about how many women he slept with. And it's awkward because we've known this child since she was a child and she's grown up. And she ends up coming at this boy, kissing all over him, throwing him down on some bags of whatever they're laying there, and stripping down. She was getting hers, y'all. If she dies tomorrow, she's not going to die a virgin because she's getting it. I love it. I am here for it. She earned it. I was a good girl all this time, training, working, doing her thing, and yes, she got some. All right, so let me see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then we have the moment where Jon ends up telling Daenerys that he is the rightful heir, okay? And she doesn't take it well, basically. As soon as she tells him, as soon as he tells her, she's questioning him like, who did you hear this from? And he tells her Sam and Bran. And she's immediately like, really? Your brother and your best friend told you that? There's all this doubt in the world. And she didn't take it well. And this is going to be a problem, y'all. This is going to make or break Daenerys in my eyes. We all know that the person who is the king of the seven kingdoms, or queen, whatever, the ruler, you have to be about the people. You can't just be about you. You cannot. I understand Daenerys's ambition, where she came from, what she's trying to complete. I get it. But at the same time, if he's the rightful heir, he's the rightful heir. And let me also say here, she didn't even say nothing about her fucking her nephew. John's her nephew. Once he put all the pieces together in her head, she should have been like, oh my God, I'm in love with you. You're in love with me. And I'm your auntie. What are we going to do? If we have kids, the kids will be your kid / cousin. Like, this is a fuckery moment right here. But not a word is said about it. That's not, they're worried about who's, this is going to be a problem, y'all. Problems. Okay, so basically from here, it's the end. What they do show is horns going off and everyone's running to the top of the bridge to see that the army of the dead has shown up there. They're all, you know, spread out. And they did not show the Night King. They did not show the dragon. I don't know if they're going to be there during this battle. There's many theories about them not being there. But I guess we'll see. Next week's episode is supposed to be an hour and a half, y'all. Hour and a half, we'll get a little more, and it's that big battle that's about to go down. If you like my videos, hit the like button and become a subscriber. I hope you're enjoying Game of Thrones the way that I am, because I'm here for it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye-bye.